I like big dens and I cannot lie.
Hi, y'all. So my wife, oh, it almost fell. My wife didn't think I could get this inside. She said it was too big to move. Well, we got it inside. And we're going to show this girl off. So this is my wife's favorite plant. She loves this plant more than me. She's not afraid to tell you that. So, you know, I used to have a love-hate relationship with this plant. For the longest time, I had no like for mimosa type dendrobiums, which this is. This is a lot of people call them Niagara hirsute because they have the little black hairs on the bracts, the leaf bracts here along the cane. So that's one thing they're called, but they're also, I believe, in the section Dendrobium formosa. And the cool thing about Dendrobium formosa types is that a lot of them get really big and a lot of them bloom for extended periods of time. And like I said, I used to have a love-hate relationship with this. The thing I loved about it is that it was easy to grow. And the thing I didn't like about it is because it took up space for the stuff that I really like to grow. But she has definitely earned her place in our collection. She blooms and blooms and blooms and blooms.
All year long.
All year long. As you can see, these ones are starting to fade, but right behind it, there's almost always more buds. A lot of folks have told me that they have difficulty with these orchids, the Formosa type dendrobiums in particular. I don't know what all the fuss is about. I tried for the longest time to get this plant to die. I just kept looking at it and saying, man, I wish that thing would get out of here, but it's...
As soon as it dies, we're
joking.
done.
But no, for real, this plant has stuck around and it's earned its keep. This is a very productive plant. It's, like she said, Dendrobium Frosty Dawn. So I think we've had this plant since probably 2018. Sometime, I feel like that's around that time frame is probably when we got it. Maybe 2017, 2019, but sometime in there. So we've had it for a little while, but the thing just grows like crazy. I don't bring it in unless it gets really, really cold. Like if they're calling for a frost, low 30s, I'll bring it inside. But otherwise, it stays out year round. I water it, or we water it whenever we feel like it. It doesn't get too much special care. It just kind of hangs out. And if everything else is getting fertilized or watered, it's getting fertilized or watered. And it just keeps chugging along. And hopefully one day, this plant will be as big as the room. And right now, I'd say it's probably about 25 pounds, maybe.
Dry.
Yeah, dry, very dry, because it's been really cold here in South Florida. And so we've let these get pretty dry because cold and wet is a recipe for disaster. And a lot of these plants, if they're well taken care of, their nutrition is correct, and you don't let them get too wet before a cold snap, a lot of them will handle the cold pretty well. Not all of them. Some of them will absolutely croak on you. But this one doesn't seem to mind. And we love her. She's earned her place. I've changed my mind about her in the past couple years. Like I said, I was joking saying I wish this plant would die. But I feel like if this plant died now, not only would my wife be, she would be in hysterics. I think I would probably be pretty sad if this plant died too. Because like I said, it blooms all the time. And it's always a focal point when people come over to our house, they see it, and they're like, ooh, what's that plant? So there you go. There's Dendrobium Frosty Dawn.
This is Dendrobium Frosty Dawn. Tristan just brought it inside, and I need him to lift it because this thing is massive. We like a thick girl, so like we said, this is Dendrobium Frosty Dawn, my favorite orchid in our collection. She is literally going to explode here soon with blooms on a whole bunch of these canes here, but what you can see here are some older flowers. They are fading, but we got some buds on the way, and they just bloom right right off that soft cane there. And I just love this plant. We've had it for so many years. Just keeps growing like a weed. And, you know, compared to my other ones that I showed, they start small, but they become mighty. And I just love this plant so much. Every time I walk out onto our lanai, I look at her and she just brings me so much happiness, and I love her so much. I got a tattoo of her on me. Like, this is my insurance. God forbid that this plant ever die. I have her forever on me. But Tristan makes jokes that he wishes this would go bye-bye. But if that happens, his cigar orchids are going to be on my list. But all jokes aside, this is a wonderful plant to grow. I think everyone should have it in their collection. The Dendrobium Frosty Dawn takes a lot of morning sun. We have it in kind of filtered light in our screened-in lanai. It is a 2-story lanai screened-in cage, and no direct sun. And she's happy. We don't really mess with her much. It grows like a weed to me, but maybe that's because we know what we're doing.
Can you say anything about the scare you had with the leaf drop?
Oh my god. So I want to say it was a year ago. It was last winter, and Tristan went out and sprayed our plants like he routinely does, and the leaves started turning yellow. Like yellow. Something was wrong. Like it contracted something. And I came out and almost all the leaves were turning yellow and dropping, and I freaked out. And come to find out, when it gets to a certain size, it is partially deciduous. So that was good information to know. So it's really important to research your plants and kind of know what the expectations are throughout the year, because I was about to murder Tristan, not gonna lie, because I thought, oh my god, if we killed this plant, my heart would be broken. But it did it again this winter. When it gets a little bit cold, some of the older canes, the older leaves will turn yellow, and there's a little bit of spotting on there. It is nothing infectious or anything like that. It's just the leaf drop. It's the time of year, and me, I'm kind of OCD about stuff. I'll just start plucking the leaves off because I just gotta take care of her. And we groom her and make her look the best that she can be.
Yeah. It pays to look into the species, because a few of the species in the background are what they call semi-deciduous. So know your plants and know what goes into the breeding, because sometimes you may think you have a problem and it's just natural.
Exactly. So this is her, and hopefully when we start getting some nice Florida weather again, we will showcase her outside in the screened-in lanai so you can see the growing environment. But here she is.